Hello, golfing world.
Knock me out.
Welcome. It's TGD Today. It's the round table with Hugh Roy the third.
But our table's not round.
I'm not worthy. It's not round,
It's
is
not
it?
round.
Did you happen to
It's
notice
semi-round.
what he put in his coffee this morning?
It's
I don't know.
semi-round.
I need some.
Whoop. Nee, nee.
Oh, God. I think it's because talking about the house.
Is that what it is?
I think so. Got him going early.
Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm glad everyone could join us. We're going to talk a little golf today. I'm going to go out to Shaftesbury.
Good for you.
I'm headed there.
Enjoy.
I'm going to go out for a practice round. I'm looking forward to it. Here at TGD, we have been do the Tee It Up Grand Strand updates, and Jeff took the cameras out there and did some shots of the changes, the modifications that were made.
And I think that I feel they turned out really good.
I'm looking forward to seeing them
we
today.
played their soft grand opening, whatever they had when they had everybody out there. It was really good. I mean, like I said, you'll notice the changes and you'll see how it kind of shapes it a little better.
Well,
before it was kind of wide open. Now it's not quite in some spots, so it's good.
Like I said, I'm going to do a practice round. There's a tournament out there next month, and I wanted to go out and take a peek at it. And before my schedule got really crazy, we're
nothing,
doing
Jeff,
this.
like playing a practice round a month and a half before you play.
Hey, watch your mouth.
It could change just a little bit.
You think so?
But never mind,
Yeah.
Practice round.
With his
for
handicap,
me,
it's not going to
It
matter.
doesn't matter. Yeah. Doesn't take long to warm up a 15, babe.
No, it don't take long to crank a Volkswagen.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm looking forward to it. Maybe we'll get Eddie on the air with us and follow up on my practice round out there and get ready for the tournament. So that'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Ian Poulter gets announced as a vice captain for the European Ryder Cup.
I think that's a really good choice.
It is, considering he's not going to make the team.
Yeah, but I mean, to keep him a part of it, because he's always kind of the one that sparks everybody and gets them going.
Oh, he's Captain Europe when it
Yeah.
comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you look at him on one side and you got Furyk on the other, two totally different personalities, but they will affect the people the same way pretty much. They just do it a different way.
Yeah. One does it quietly,
One's
whispering,
up in your face and screaming.
the other one's screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Tiger makes his announcement. He will not play the U.S. Open. Shock. Surprise.
Won't play the tournament after either.
And he won't play the one after that.
So who knows? I mean, I don't know.
Come on, dude. You got to give me something. So, give me something.
I mean,
Come on.
everything that I've been told and I've heard is, he's getting healthy and he's hitting balls and whatever. But I don't know. You're not just going to – the thing is he's going to come back and everybody's going to expect this. They're going to have press conferences and talk all this crap.
If he misses the U.S. Open and then misses the British, does he even mess with the PGA?
Not this year, no. No, I mean, I don't –
So if he misses two of them, does he mess with the others?
The thing is, why would you come back and your first tournament be the U.S. Open? I mean, that's just stupid.
I agree.
I mean,
especially on probably the hardest golf course that these boys have seen in quite some time.
And obviously we've talked about this morning before we went on air, but I mean, you look at Memphis this week. It's the weakest field of the year. Seriously. It's pathetic. There's people that haven't played out there in 15 years that are in this tournament.
It's not pretty.
But this is the kind of tournament that you make a comeback to. That's where I'm going with this. You know, if he was going to make a comeback to go play in the U.S. Open, you go play Memphis. I don't care if it's 110 degrees or not.
Yeah.
And 90% humidity. You go play it because it's the weakest field and gives you a chance to kind of get in shape.
Yeah. And
he's had no competitive rounds in how long?
He's not going to play the John Deere, and he's not going to play this, and he's not going to play that.
Well, he should play the John Deere because that was where he made his first start.
Yeah, well.
As a pro. I mean, this makes sense.
Is he done, dude?
No, he's not done.
Okay.
He's gonna try to come back, and whether it works or not, I don't know. You don't know. Nobody does.
No.
But knowing does. Tiger, and like I've said a million times, I mean, we're rookies together in '96. I mean, the guy can do whatever he wants when he sets his mind to it.
Sure.
Question is, does he want it? Mm-hmm. I'm not real sure after going through all this he really cares.
Right.
It's more the media and the press and, golf people trying to say, well, we want this and that.
I think he's still laying back. I mean, Hillary's still to announce who her vice presidential candidate is going to be. So
you didn't have to go there, George.
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
I told you, Tiger in 2016.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I told you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good morning, Heather. Hopefully she's listening in, watching, viewing.
Who knows?
You like the shirt? I look good in this.
It just
color.
doesn't match your shorts. But
Well, they're white.
no, they're not. They're off white.
Okay. Well, it's kind of hard to dress in the dark.
Well, that's a personal problem.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Oakmont, comments made this week. One, Phil Mickelson. The hardest golf course that I or others on this tour have seen.
Mm-hmm.
Not ever, not recently, have seen. Supposedly playing very firm and fast. Supposedly greens that are, in some opinions, unputtable.
They are, and that's the way they want them. They will slow them down for the Open, George.
And
They are faster
You've commented
for the
on
membership.
that many times, and you have a lot of experience at Oakmont. The slopes are what dictates also speed.
Well, you look at Oakmont, and folks, honestly, when you watch the U.S. Open, look at some of these greens. They don't. Some of them sit up, but most of them sit ground level and run with the slope. Whatever the slope is, it's there. It wasn't changed. They just put the greens in there. The 10th hole, I don't know how long it is now, but back in the day, it was a driver and about 6-7 iron, something like that.
10th hole.
But you couldn't fly it on the green. You had to land it short of the green. And when you landed it short of the green, this is how sadistic the USGA is. They go in there and water from the front of the green about 15 yards short. So if you hit it short of the green to bounce it in there, it stops. Well, if that happens, you're done. Absolutely. You cannot keep it on the green. It's
Can't stop
impossible.
it.
It's impossible. And they do that. So you would have to land these balls 20 to 25 yards short of the green to bounce it in there. That's hard to do when you're standing out there at 190 yards. You got to fly at 170. And then you got bunkers to navigate to go in between just to try to get it on the green. The heck with the flag. You're not worried about the flag because where this ball, if it stops on the green, you're going to be putting uphill. And that's what you're trying to do.
Right.
You're playing so defensive around this golf course, it's ridiculous. And these greens for the membership, no joke, roll 14.5 on the stent meter every day. Now, at summertime, it can be 100 degrees in Pittsburgh. They're going to run 14.5.
Well, these won't be Shinnecock greens to the point where they have to go out and shoot water on them after every group goes through.
Well, Oakmont won't let that happen.
Right.
Oakmont will tell the USGA to pack their bags and get off the property if they let something like. I mean, they'll handle it. Their superintendent's a genius, and he'll know what to do. I mean, like they're talking about, in the article in Golf Magazine this morning or yesterday or this morning, it's about how they've got staff out there in khaki pants and white shirts raking the rough, so it flows a specific way, so it's always into you. So if your ball goes in there, it buries. And then you can't get the club through there because the grass is coming against you. You're going against the grain. I mean, this is the kind of stuff these people do. And it's like the one member here was saying, he goes, I don't want anybody to come in here and enjoy themselves. I want them to be miserable.
Right.
I want them to, and he's like, and the guy writing the article says these members are sadistic. I mean, and that's what they are. They want you to come in there and shoot 115 and, like this says, not lose a ball. That's a hard golf course.
Yeah.
And it can be Mickey Mouse at times in spots because, like I said, you're trying to bounce it in there. I mean, I'll never forget the practice round I played with Fuzzy Zeller and John Daly. We're teeing off on number one. And I pull out driver just to rip it down there, and he goes, no. And I had a 4, we were playing wooden clubs back then. So I had a 3 wood and a 4 wood. He said, take the 4 wood and hit it off. I said, this thing's 460 yards. Whatever.
Still is.
He goes, just 4 wood. So I hit 4 wood down the right center of the fairway, get down there. I've got 230 yards or something in there. And I'm like going, all right, I'll just play along. So he's jagging the kid. Mm-hmm. I mean, because I was still on the Nike tour at the time, or the web.com now. And so this was 94. And so I get there, and he looks at me. He goes, I pull out like 3 iron. He goes, no. 7 iron. Hit it at that tree right there. Right side, right down the rough line, there's a big, tall oak tree. He said, hit it at that tree. I looked at him. I said, okay. I said, I'll play. Hit 7 iron. I get down there. I'm 20 feet in the middle of the green. Now, it landed 100 yards short of the green, but it runs straight downhill to the green, then the green sits this way. And it ran right down there, right in the middle of the green, 20 feet. I played the whole 200 par for the 4 days I played there. Played it just like that. I hit 4 wood 7 iron. I didn't care how far I had. Didn't matter. All I had to do was land it on the downslope, hit it somewhat solid, and it's going to go right down on the green. That's the kind of stuff he taught me around that place, and what helped me a bunch. And then obviously at a U.S. Open, you've got to get lucky. Mm-hmm. If you don't get lucky, you're going to make 8. Mm-hmm. And at Oakmont, it's even more prevalent.
We'll talk about this, of course, as we get ready for the Open and we make our picks and projections and this, that, and the other. You smell a maybe no deeper than 5 under?
No, I think honestly, they're going to have the first 300-yard par 3 in U.S. Open history next week, number 8. It was 240.
And number 9 is going to play 500 as a par 4.
Yeah. So
for the members, it's a par 5. So that's
I tell you what, George, if you go out and shoot even par next week, you could win by 3 or 4
every day.
You shoot even par for the tournament.
A 300-yard par 3.
Yep, number 8.
How do you play that hole?
You bounce it in there anyway. So because it goes downhill a little bit and the slope runs right to left and the green sits, fairway height. It doesn't sit up or anything. So
the first day tee, Jeff, is going to be 288 yards.
So what are these guys hitting?
Par 3
hybrids?
No, they'll hit 3 irons. Some guys will probably hit 3 woods.
Huh.
Bunker left, called the Sahara. It's 100 yards long.
But if you run it down the right center, it'll run right on the green because it slopes right to left. Mm-hmm. So, back when we played it, we were playing it at 225 to 240 somewhere in there. We were hitting 3 irons. Mm-hmm. You just hit it short and bounce it in there. And number 9 was the par 5 when we played it, but they made it a par 4. Which
I find it interesting if you go through the course review, whether it's if you go through Oakmont's course review, which I kind of take with more credibility than I do maybe the USGA's course review or the,
sure,
PGA Tour's course review. But if you take Oakmont's description, it just keeps hole after hole after hole after hole. It says make par and move on, make par and move on, make par and move on. They don't once say in there, this is a good birdie opportunity. You always see that on a particular golf course. No, not at Oakmont.
Well, at Oakmont, your opportunities are number 2, number 3, the par 5. What is that? 4, 5.
Let me
4 or 5. 4. 4 is a par 5.
Yep.
All right. That's a birdie opportunity if you keep it out of the church.
That'll play 620 yards.
Yeah, but it's still a birdie opportunity. The next hole's not.
Has the church pews on the left.
On the left. Yep. That's number 3 to the left of there. So, you've gone right by there. I've been in those, so I know all about them.
You've been in those church pews?
Oh, yeah. There's nothing like standing there with having one straddling you in between your legs while you're hitting a 6 iron to the green. I hit it in there, and I had to straddle it and stand with my legs apart. Had this like I was sitting on a bar stool, and swatted out of there and got it up on the green, got out. But
wow.
If it had gone another foot, I'd have had nothing.
So what's the church pew?
It's a regular bunker, but they've got, instead of the grass mounds go horizontal to the hole.
Oh yeah.
So in between them is a bunker.
If you stand from the tee box and look at them, as they'll see on television coverage, here's this big white bunker, 100 yards long.
Yeah.
And then it looks like church pews.
Huh.
Yeah. And these pews are only probably from the end of the desk here to over there apart. Huh. So if you hit it in between them, you're just chipping it out.
Yeah, you're going sideways.
You can't get it there. So that's what I'm saying. Mine, if it is a foot left, it goes in between. I've got to go out sideways.
Yeah.
But it rolled up and came down. But I'm telling you, I was standing there. It was like I could have sat down.
Right.
And I had to.
They're
hit this
that
shot.
Elevated
yes.
as far as crowned.
They'll hit you right in the rear end when you stand right and straddle them. They're that high.
And like I said, the whole will play and can play is back as 620. And that would be number 4, the par 5. So, and you'll see several times during the coverage, people literally turning their back toward the hole to hit a second shot.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, the thing is, the funny part is, George, you can go out there and hit 18 greens and shoot 80.
Mm-hmm.
I can
sense that.
That's no joke.
But that's a testament also to the greens.
Oh yeah. And they're perfect. It's not like they got slope to them, and they are very fast, but they're perfect surfaces. It's like putting in your bathtub. You just
now you look at hole number 5. It's a par 4, 380 yards, which is, like a buffet for these tour pros. They're going to be hitting long irons to keep it within these several bunkers that line right and left that narrow this thing down to nothing. But really, the hole doesn't get hard until you try to, first off, hit the green, get it to stop on the green, and then the most undulated green on the golf course is hole number 5.
Yep.
And they're stating that if you literally miss it to the wrong quadrant, and it's a big green.
Yeah.
If you literally miss it to the wrong quadrant, you're going to do everything you can not to 4-putt.
Yeah. Or 5-putt. No joke.
So the hole is not that hard otherwise.
I mean, I'll never forget qualifying and playing there in '94. Called my dad. I was so happy and proud. I finally got in a major and yada, yada, yada. And he just said, I don't know why you waste your time, but go ahead. So I was waiting to call him, tell him I got in. He goes, you happy now, aren't you? I said, yes, sir. I said, I finally, get to try this out and hear what you've had to say, because he played in several. And he goes, cool. He goes, now when you're done, call me and tell me how you feel. I felt like I'd been beat with a flipping strap. I've never been so mentally exhausted and physically tired after 4 days of golf. I mean, I was 1 over par after 2 rounds and was in 13th place and shot 77, 78 the last 2 days and did not care. I just wanted out.
Right.
It was that hard.
Right.
Hole
number 6 is the first par 3, and literally on their website, if you miss the green to the right on this par 3 and you make a par, you get a free Coke.
Because that bunker on the right, the green slopes right to left.
They said if you go over, I mean, they say right on the website, missing the green to the right leads to a bogey. There's no, you'll make par, you can get up and down.
Green runs right away from you.
So, for us amateurs, you're looking at a triple. I mean, because they're categorically saying if you're a playing professional, you're making bogey. That's pretty strong. But.
Well, when you get to 12, I got a story to tell you that will
let's go to 12.
That will make you laugh.
Let's go to 12.
Par 5.
12 is 600, and it can play. The first day they're playing at 667, but they can back that up 5 more yards and go 672. So almost 700 yards.
You look on that picture, you see the drainage ditch on the right over there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, they've cut those down so they're neater. But when we played it, the stuff was up high as this counter.
Okay. So 3 to 4 feet tall.
Oh, yeah. Well, we get there now. This is the funny part. It's the 3rd round. And I had to be there and finish that morning for the 2nd round. Couldn't leave because if you leave, you can't get back because the road is just a 2-lane road and you got all these people coming in. Right. So they tell you not to leave. So I'm sitting around from, say, 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, till I tee off at 1:50. My buddy and I are sitting there. I'm drinking Cokes, we're eating ice cream, blah, blah, blah. And by the time I got to 9, I was fried. That's where I told you I about killed the people coming down number 1 following Mr. Nicholas. Right. So we get to 12. I stand up there, and I hit a pretty good one down the right side. Well, the thing is, you've got to hug those bunkers on the left. But if you hit it in there, you're going to make 6 at best. All right, because then you got to just get it out. Then you've got to play it like a normal par 5. So you're going to probably make 6. So I just rip it right, and it hits, bounces right, and goes right in that drainage thing over there. It's a little canal that they've got dug out. It looks just like a natural area. But, I mean, like I said, the stuff's this high. So I get in there, and I swat it out. Get it, I hit it about 40 yards. I can't get there. So at this time, my brain's just scrambled. So I take 3 wood and just rip it. As soon as I hit it, I'm like, why did you do that? And I hit it right down the left side of the fairway thinking it's going to bounce right. Well, it just bounces straight. Well, look in front of the green. You see that bunker on the left? All right. Well, you can hit over that bunker, and there's a level, and then the green runs straight left to right away from you, this way. And they've got it stuck right on top of this ledge over this bunker. It's not on there 4 feet. And I'm standing there looking over this bunker, this canvas of a bunker that's got a face in it that's, this high. And I'm like, oh, God. I got no chance here. I've got none. I take a lob wedge out. I only have 40-something yards. And I take this lob wedge out, and I opened up, and I take a divot about this long. bent grass, hit this thing straight up in the air. I'm like, oh, God, I just dumped it in the bunker. I'm getting ready to make 10. It hits just over the bunker in rough this high. And I'm like, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Takes a little hop. Hits the top of it, and it's so lush and thick. The ball never disappeared. It was like hitting on a couch. Pops up, hits the fringe, rolls down, and hits the flag, stops like that.
Whoa.
And I made par.
Whoa.
And I'm walking out of there, and I looked at Tom Moore, the pro at the Palmetto Golf Club. He came up and was following me around with a lot of the members from there. And they were all like, oh, my God, what a shot. I said, no. That's my once-in-a-lifetime lucky shot.
Right.
Wasn't a hole in one. I didn't hold it out or anything. That's just, thank God I made 5 and got out of there. Because, that could have been 10.
Wow.
But, if it doesn't hit in there and do that, it's going to hit.
Yeah, if it doesn't react like a mattress.
Yeah, and if it had got on the green, it's going all the way to the other end in the rough down there, and I'm pitching it back up.
Well, if you look at the illustration of the hole, and we're talking about number 12, folks, at Oakmont, if you look at the illustration, the green's actually dissected.
Oh, yeah.
It's 2 separate greens. There's this huge ravine in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking a dip, folks. I'm talking a ravine.
And, it runs, like I said, straight left to right from that mound to the back right corner. And if your ball gets on there, it's going to that right corner. You can hit sandwich on the front, and it's going to that back right corner. You can't stop it. When they say these people are sadistic, they are. The members there, they love the fact that people go in there and just go, oh, my God. They get there. They'll start out playing pretty good, and by the time they get to number 5, they're like, oh, they're fried.
If the rough, which they're claiming they're growing the rough higher than it's ever been before, and they're claiming that they even brought in some special mowers that they could raise the decks even higher and still cut the seeds off the top of them. You know what I'm saying? If it gets moisture, if it gets rainy, like they get some heavier thunderstorms run through there, does it become impossible?
No. Here, if it rains, you're going to have 2 separate things happen. Number 1, the golf course is going to play extremely long. Okay?
Yeah, almost.
The fairways are going to soften up, so it will be easier to hit fairways because the ball's going to hit and
keep them
roll.
There.
Yes.
And keep them there.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, if you fly it in the rough, good luck. The second thing is it's going to soften up those greens. They don't have sub-air there. So, it's old school but they keep it in a certain way. But it is going to soften them up, which will help as far as hitting greens and controlling your ball.
And keeping them on the putting surface.
Yes. But if it doesn't and it stays like it is now.
Right.
Either way, I honestly think, because if it plays longer, they've already lengthened this golf course a ton.
Yeah, yeah.
If it plays any longer or if it plays hard and fast, I still think even par to over par wins this golf tournament this year. I really do. Because I think that's what they're trying to accomplish.
Well, the USGA, they each year when the Open comes up, oh, this is the toughest golf course, like, at Marion, for example. Oh, yeah, Marion's in the greatest shape, but it's going to be the toughest. And all of a sudden you go out there and you see 15 under par winning the damn thing.
Yeah.
I think Oakmont's the opposite of that.
I know it is. I think it is.
I think the only way that they say that, oh, yeah, the golf course looks great, spectacular, characteristically, it's phenomenal, and no. And that's just the USJ saying, we didn't really have anything to do with this.
They don't have it. They don't. Now, Oakmont will let them take the forefront and do all the stuff, but behind the scenes, they're handling this.
This is one of the few places
that will tell the USGA, we don't care if you're here or not.
It kind of reminds me of Pine Valley.
It is, very much.
Augusta.
No.
USGA's got nothing to do with Augusta.
No. And the people at Oakmont are far different than the people at
Augusta.
No,
I'm not comparing
the membership
club to club. I'm just saying as far as tour influence and things of that sort.
This one's probably worse. They enjoy the fact that they control their own universe. They don't care if anybody ever knew about Oakmont, to be honest with you. But the thing I like about Oakmont so much is it's still the country club that when you go in the clubhouse or you walk in the pro shop, you got to take your hat off. You got to dress properly. Well, you don't see that nowadays. Right. They can talk about the millennials and how golf's got to change to be more fun and stuff. those old school values to me, that's what it's about. And I'll never forget sitting on the porch up there one day when I was up there with Heather in Pittsburgh, and we lived there, and she's from there, and I would go play and practice up there. Bob Ford would let me come up there and play with the members, and they loved it. So they were like, they'd call me, "You coming? Can you come Thursday?" "Sure." And we're sitting up on the porch, and I just walked onto the porch to sit down with the guys I played with, and I just, for some reason, forgot to take my hat off. And I sat down, and the first thing out of my mouth, "Take your hat off." "Oop, sorry." But they keep to their values. They don't care what anybody else thinks. And you look at the way people are, the politeness at that club, the way you're treated, it's unreal. But when it comes to this golf course, it's like I read to you in that article. They're the most sadistic people you've ever met in your life. They want you to come out there shooting a million.
Well, it's what golf should be.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And I think that's why this year we're going to see a U.S. Open like the old days. Like we saw when I was growing up, where guys are, even to one over, two
even
over.
Par. Yeah.
You've got to manage your golf ball around there. The equipment and whatever else, it's not going to help. Not this time.
Well, they did lengthen it, like you said, and evidently there's still room to lengthen it more. But I guess the club kind of said, well, okay, we'll tweak this and we'll tweak that, but we're not going to go to this extreme because there was rumblings several months ago that this was going to be the first 8,000-yard major championship.
Yep.
Now, it's my understanding if they were to truly tip out all the boxes on all 18 holes, that they would be right at it.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yep.
To 8,000 yards.
Yep. I mean, because you figure number 8 can play up to 300. It's par 3.
And, you're looking at the par 5s. Easily one of them, if not two of them, could jump up to 700 yards. And I just think that truly, even though you got less humidity in theory, you're higher elevation in theory than maybe courses down south or closer to the equator. You still got the greens that are some of the more severe, quicker greens in the industry. And you've got some of the thickest rough in the industry. I mean, it's not Kentucky blue, but it's thick rough. And so,
I mean, if it's not Kentucky blue, it's bent grass, it's the Poe, it's all of that.
Yeah,
so I mean, it's real, and I mean,
I'm looking forward to it.
It's gonna.
I think the golf course is going to be. We had one of these last year, and we talk about East Lake this way.
Yeah,
it's not a long course. It's not a spectacular course. It's not something that's going to wear you out visually, but East Lake holds its own.
It does, but it's nothing like this.
No. I'm not comparing it to
know.
this. I'm just saying you have those old school traditional golf courses that can still show their teeth whenever they need to.
Oh, yeah.
And Oakmont's going to be that.
And that's where you go back to the old school values of how you get it ready. And you look at what Oakmont's doing. Mickelson goes and plays and says it's the hardest one he's ever seen because it's playing hard and fast and it's hard to control your ball.
Yeah.
And that golf course is nothing but speed.
Yeah. And for a guy that plays his entire game with hands,
it's
you can only imagine how hard it's going to be for those mechanics.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for your insight on that. That was good. I tell you, Jeff, let's take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, of course, we'll get into more and more golf discussion. But thanks for joining Hugh and I here on the Roundtable at TGD Today. TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Digital Network for thegolfdirector.com. Be sure to check out our featured course pages on the website where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, much more. If you need help with a golfing vacation, you can just call Dave right here at the Golf Director, 844-GO-GOLF-1, 844-464-6531. All of our programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. You can click the TGD Radio or the TGD TV tab in the menu screen at the Golf Director, THE, golfdirector.com. You can find us on over 1 billion with a B. Yeah. 1 billion devices. Any smartphone, you can grab us. All you got to do is go to iTunes, AudioRam, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Periscope, Catch.me, and, of course, Blueberry. I'm George Honeycutt for Hugh Roy III, for Jeff Gilder behind the glass. Want to make sure you come right back. There's a lot more golf news and information coming up next.
8:30.